The heat started before the fire. First the air grew heavy, hard to pull into my chest. Then came the smell, gasoline mixed with dust and fear. The metal of the car crackled like it was alive, groaning, giving in little by little. I was locked inside. The doors wouldn't open, the windows wouldn't break, and outside I could hear laughter. In that moment there was no service, no road, no one left to help, just me. A burning car and one question pounding inside my head. How did helping people get to church bring me here? The flames began to climb along the sides. Smoke poured in. My eyes burned, my throat felt like fire. I thought of my mother. I thought of the people I'd taken that week. I thought of God, but without pretty words. Maybe you've never been inside a car about to explode, but maybe you know what it feels like to do the right thing and still end up in the middle of the fire. Have you ever thought you could die burning just for helping people get to church? Maybe you're here because your faith has also learned how to survive in silence. This is the channel where miracles begin. Here, you don't have to be strong, you just have to be honest. My name is Sadiq Emmanuel, and before anything else, I need to be honest with you. I was never a pastor. I never knew how to preach. I could never explain the Bible without stumbling over my words. I was always too shy to speak in public. In my church, I was the one in the back, the one who set up chairs, carried things, fixed practical problems. Talking was never my thing. I live in northern Nigeria. And here, following Jesus isn't just a spiritual choice, it's a daily risk. People have tried to start Christian communities in our area before. All of them shut down, some by force, others by fear. Extremists don't like noise, and they don't like silence either when they know what it hides. For a long time, I thought God couldn't use me. I watched people with bold words, courage, steady voices. I didn't have any of that. But I had something else. I liked helping, and I helped without overthinking. That was just who I was. One day, an American missionary came to do an outreach near our region. I walked almost 30 kilometers many times to help him with the services, not because I wanted to be seen, but because it was needed. Someone had to pick people up, bring water, organize the place. One day, he asked why I always arrived exhausted. When I told him I came on foot, he went quiet. A few weeks later, before he left, he handed me the keys to a simple car and said, "God sees those who serve in silence." That day, I made a promise to God. It wasn't a beautiful prayer. It was short, just like me. If I don't know how to speak, I can serve. I started using that car to take people to secret services about 30 kilometers away, always before dawn. Everything was done carefully. No attention, no announcements. People trusted me because I didn't ask too many questions. I didn't charge anything. I didn't try to stand out. I just took them, waited, and brought them back. I knew the danger. Everyone did. But I believed that if I was discreet enough, maybe no one would notice. Maybe God was using me exactly like this, my way, with few words, no stage, no strong voice, just availability. I didn't realize someone was watching, and I never imagined that simple promise would lead me straight into the fire. It didn't take long for something around me to start changing. At first, it was little details, too small to draw attention, but too big to go unnoticed by people who lived to watch. The people I drove began to change, not in an extreme way. They didn't become fanatics. If anything, they became calmer. Some stopped joining the local parties, others dressed more modestly. The way they spoke changed, less cursing, less aggression, more silence. A different kind of silence, the kind that bothers people who control through fear. One day, while I parked near the market, I felt a heavy stare on my back. When I turned, I saw one of the men known to be part of the extremist group in our area. He stared too long, like he wasn't looking for answers. He was looking for guilt. "You've been giving too many rides," he said without greeting me. "Yeah," "The car makes it easier," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. He gave a crooked half smile. "Too easy. Do you charge for it?" I shook my head. "No. After I got the car, I made a personal commitment to help those who need it." He looked me up and down like he was weighing every word. "No one helps for free around here," he said, then walked away. That same night, I went out for another trip. 4 people got into the car. The road was long, the night was dark, and silence filled the car for a few minutes, until one of them spoke. "You know you could charge, right? A lot of people do." I took a deep breath before answering. "I know, but that's not why I do it." They kept pressing, curious, and then I said something I had never said out loud, not even to myself. "I don't know how to talk about the Bible. I never did. I always freeze. But I learned one thing." I paused, gripping the steering wheel harder. "More important than talking about God's love is knowing how to live it." No one answered, but something in the air changed. It wasn't excitement, it was relief. Like someone had finally said what they needed to hear. We kept driving in silence. I kept thinking about the man at the market, about the way he looked at me. For the first time, fear started to settle in, not like panic, but like a warning. Still, when I dropped them near the meeting place, I saw something in their eyes that made me keep going. Hope, not loud, not dramatic, just hope. And that's when I understood. Even without knowing how to preach, I was part of something bigger than me. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt God uses you more through what you do than through what you say? If that's you, write this in the comments. God uses me the way I can. People started being surprised by things that were normal to me. Not speeches, not Bible quotes, just simple actions, consistency. The fact that I drove back every night down the same road, even knowing it wasn't safe. That road was long, a dirt track surrounded by dry brush and a few scattered houses. And that's where I started noticing a skinny dog, always in the same spot. Ribs showing, dirty fur, cautious eyes. He never came too close, he just watched. The first time I drove past, the second time I slowed down, the third time I stopped, opened the door slowly, and tossed some food I had saved. He waited until I stepped back before eating. The next week he recognized the sound of my engine. He didn't wag his tail, he didn't jump, he just showed up. And for me, that was enough. I didn't think much of it, I just couldn't ignore him. The same way I never ignored tired people, people afraid, people who just wanted to get to a hidden service. I didn't have the courage to speak about Jesus in public, but I always had the courage not to ignore the ones on the road, even the animals. That same week, as we returned from one of the services, something different happened. One of the women I had driven got out of the car before me, close to her house. Minutes later, she was surrounded by 2 men. I saw it from a distance, but I couldn't stop. She tried to laugh it off, tried to act normal, but they weren't there to talk. They searched her bag right there in the street. When they pulled a Bible from her backpack, everything changed. The next day, I went to fill up the car early. As I approached, I felt a strange tightness in my chest. On the driver's door, scratched with something sharp, was a message. Crooked, deep, impossible to ignore. Keep driving people to hell, and we'll take you with them. I stood there for a few seconds, staring at those words like they might move. My hands were sweating. My first reaction was simple. Stop. No one would blame me. Everyone would understand. But then I thought about the faces inside my car, the respectful silence during the ride, the quiet joy when they arrived at the service. I thought about that skinny dog, always waiting, not knowing if that night he would eat or not, but showing up anyway. So I wiped the words off the best I could. It didn't come out clean. You could still see it, just like fear, just like the decision. That night I messaged the people and changed the meeting point, farther away, less visible. It wasn't courage, it was caution, or at least that's what I told myself. I didn't know. But by then the suspicions were no longer just suspicions. They were certainty. After that message carved into my car, nothing felt normal. The trips continued, but the mood inside the car changed. It wasn't just anticipation anymore, it was fear. A fear no one spoke out loud, but it filled every space. One night, while I drove, one of the passengers finally broke the silence. Her voice was shaking. "Sad. You know what they do to people who get caught helping Christians, right?" I kept my eyes on the road. She continued, "They kidnap. They torture. They've burned entire houses with people inside." Those words dropped inside me like stones. The others in the back seat nodded. One of them said his cousin disappeared after being accused of helping church people. They never found the body. "We can stop," someone suggested. "Or at least take a break," another said. I didn't answer right away, not because I was strong, because I had no answer. I was scared too. But there was something in their eyes that held me. It wasn't pressure, it was honesty. They wanted to know the Bible more. They wanted to understand who Jesus is. They just wanted to go without dying for it. "I'll be more careful," was all I could say. The next day before leaving, I noticed something wrong as soon as I looked at the car. The front tire was flat, completely empty. When I got closer, I saw a folded piece of paper stuck to the wheel. I opened it with trembling hands. "You're going too far. This is your last warning." I sat down on the ground for a few seconds. The sun wasn't even up yet. I could have stayed there, messaged everyone to cancel, said it was too dangerous, and no one would judge me. But as I changed the tire, my hands covered in dirt, I thought about the people who would already be waiting. I thought about the simple promise I made to God, not to die, not to be a hero, just to serve. I went anyway. I arrived at the meeting point. 2 new people were there. I didn't recognize them. They smiled when I arrived, too polite. They spoke too little. One of them asked what route I usually took. The other wanted to know if I always drove at night. "You trust people too much," one of them said with a low laugh. "Trust? No. Habit," I answered, feeling a cold feeling crawl up my spine. We drove down the road. The silence was heavy now. No singing, no small talk, just the engine. Then I heard a metallic sound, something being pulled. "Pull over!" Before I could react, I saw a gun reflected in the rearview mirror. "Get out of the car, now!" The other passengers started screaming. One opened the door and ran. Another tripped in the dark. In seconds, I was alone with them. "You help Christians," one of the men said, "and because of that, today you'll burn with what you love." That's when I understood. It wasn't a warning. It was a sentence. They didn't yell. They didn't need to. One of them hit me in the stomach. The air shot out of my lungs like someone turned something off inside me. I fell to my knees before I even understood what was happening. The next kick hit my back. Dirt filled my mouth. "Come on, get up." I tried to obey, but my legs wouldn't respond. They weren't in a hurry. They knew exactly what they were doing. One of them grabbed my arm and dragged me to the car door. "You thought no one was watching, didn't you?" said the one holding the gun. "The routes, the times, the people. We know everything." That hurt more than the punches. Not because I mattered, but because I had been naive. I thought silence would protect me. I thought serving quietly would keep me from becoming a target. They opened the back door and shoved me inside. My head hit the seat. Before I could move, the door slammed shut. The sound of the lock echoed inside the car like a verdict. I heard footsteps around me, a container scraping. The smell of gasoline arrived before the liquid, strong, raw, sickening. It ran down the roof, along the sides, dripped to the floor. My hands started shaking. I pulled the handle. Nothing. I pounded the window. Nothing. "Get away from here!" I shouted, but my voice came out weak, broken. Outside, I heard low laughter. One of them said, "You wanted to bring people to meet God? Today you'll meet Him first." The fire wasn't even lit yet, but I already felt like I was burning inside. My chest tightened. My throat closed. I tried to pray. I tried to remember verses. Nothing came. No beautiful lines, no rehearsed words. Only this came out. God. I only tried to help. I didn't ask to live. I didn't ask for a miracle. I don't even understand why I'm here. I rested my forehead against the steering wheel. I thought maybe I had done everything wrong. Maybe helping wasn't enough. Maybe I confused serving with being reckless. Maybe God was silent because I didn't know how to talk to him the right way. Then the sound of a lighter snapped through the air, one dry click, then another. I closed my eyes and breathed as best I could. If that was the end, I just wanted it to hurt less than I imagined. And then the fire came. It didn't begin with an explosion. It began low, fast, like something that already knew where it was going. Flames ran along the side of the car, climbed the doors, touched the roof. Heat came before light. Then thick smoke, dark, alive, flooded in. I tried to breathe, but it felt like nothing was getting in. Every breath burned. My eyes stung so badly, tears came without control. The steering wheel was too hot to hold. I let go. My hands shook. My legs stopped responding. I screamed once. The second time, no sound came out. The smoke dropped lower, swallowing everything. The world got small, just that space, just that heat. I thought, this is how it ends. My head fell to the side. The roar of the flames swallowed every other sound. The smell was unbearable. Something inside me started giving up, not because I had no faith, but because my body reached its limit. That's when I heard something different. Not a human voice, a dog barking. At first, I thought it was my mind playing tricks. A distant sound, mixed with the crackle of the fire, but the barking grew louder, desperate, repeated, like someone calling for help the only way they knew. I couldn't turn my head, but in the reflection on the window I saw a shadow moving, a skinny, dirty dog running in circles, barking non-stop. It was him, the dog from the road, the one who showed up every dawn, the one I never ignored. He stopped for a second, looked at the burning car, then ran. He ran the other way and disappeared into the darkness. Everything slowed down. My vision darkened around the edges. The fire kept closing in. I couldn't feel my hands anymore. I thought that barking would be the last sound I ever heard. Then I heard footsteps, shouts, a man's voice. Is there someone inside? A bright beam cut through the smoke. I heard something being forced open, one hard oodah, then another. The door gave way with a violent pop. Hands grabbed my arm, then my shoulder. My body was pulled out and dropped onto the hard ground. Air entered my lungs like knives. It hurt, but it went in. I saw a man holding a shotgun, his face terrified, coughing. He looked at the burning car, then at me. It was the dog, he said, like he couldn't believe it. He wouldn't stop barking. He came to my house. There was no time to thank him. No time to say anything. 2 minutes later, the car exploded. The sound shook the ground. Flames shot up like they wanted to erase every trace of what happened there. Where I had been, nothing was left, nothing but me. I woke up days later, my body in a way I still couldn't explain. Some places burned more than others. They told me I was lucky. I didn't feel lucky. I felt empty. The smell of smoke still seemed stuck to me, even after so many baths. Nights were the worst. Every time I closed my eyes, I was back inside that car. The smoke, the heat, the sound of the lock. Sometimes I woke up screaming. Other times I just stared at the ceiling, trying to understand why I was still alive. It didn't take long for the news to spread, and with it came a silent sentence. I had been marked for death. It wasn't safe for me to stay there. People who knew me started avoiding me, not out of hatred but fear. Some of the Christians I helped ran away, others went into hiding. I understood. I didn't judge anyone. I had to leave the area not because I was brave, but because I had no choice. And the car was gone. Ashes on the side of that road. Sometimes I thought I had lost everything. The tool, the means, the one thing that let me help. I didn't know how to serve without it. That's when they told me about the dog. They said he had also been found injured, with light burns. He was scared but alive. When they brought him to me, he didn't wag his tail. He didn't act excited. He just came close, slowly, and lay down near my feet. I stared at him for a long time. A very long time. I decided to keep him, not because he saved me, not because it made a nice story, but because somehow he made sense in all that silence. I called him Angel, not because I believed he was literally an angel, but because that night God didn't use a preacher. He didn't use a pastor. He didn't use words. He used the unlikely, a skinny dog I never ignored. And that showed me something I never understood before. God sees every small act that no one applauds. Even without the car, something kept happening. People went back to the services. Some walked for miles. Others went together in silence before dawn. I wasn't driving anymore, but the journey was still being made. The car turned to ashes. The mission didn't. And I kept being who I always was, quiet, shy, with few words. But now with one certainty, the fire couldn't burn away. God does not waste availability. After everything that happened, one verse stayed with me and never left. Not because someone preached it to me, but because it kept chasing me in silence. Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Isaiah 6:8. For a long time, I believed that question was only for brave people, people who speak well, who don't tremble in front of others, who have strong voices, ready answers, unshakable faith. I never saw myself there. I always thought God calls the strong and uses the prepared. I was neither. I was shy, stuck, insecure. I always felt my faith had to stay hidden because I didn't know how to defend it with words. But on that road, in the middle of the fire, something became clear to me in a way no one had ever explained. God didn't ask if I knew how to preach. He didn't ask if I had courage. He didn't ask if I was ready. He only asked if I was available. Maybe you're listening to me right now and you see yourself in that. Maybe you also love God, but you feel like you don't know how to talk about him. Maybe you've used your shyness as protection or as an excuse. Maybe you've convinced yourself God uses others, but not you. I believe that too. But I learned something that changed everything. God didn't ask me for courage. He only asked if I would stay available. That night, he didn't use what I thought was important. He didn't use strength. He didn't use eloquence. He didn't use position. He used what I never considered big. He used simple gestures. He used quiet consistency. He used a life that decided not to pass by. And maybe the confrontation God is bringing to you today isn't about fire or persecution. Maybe it's quieter, and because it's quiet, it's harder. Maybe it's about serving without being seen, loving without applause, stopping the habit of waiting until you feel ready. So I ask you this without accusation, without pressure, looking you in the eyes right now. Have you been using your shyness as an excuse or as a place of surrender? Because there are many ways to preach. Some use a microphone, others use presence, others use faithfulness in the small things, others use nothing but a heart that decides not to ignore what's on the road. And God keeps asking the same question, not only to leaders, but to ordinary people. Whom shall I send? Lord, there are people here who are tired of trying to be someone they're not, tired of thinking they need beautiful words, perfect courage, unshakable faith. Today, we don't ask for a life without fire. We ask for your presence in the middle of it. Reach those who serve in silence, who help without recognition, who love without knowing how to explain it. Let fear not be greater than availability. Let shyness not suffocate the calling. And let every person here understand. You see what no one else sees. We don't promise strength, we offer sincerity. In Jesus' name, amen. If this story spoke to you, write in the comments, even with fear, I choose to serve. And if you want to keep walking with us, subscribe. Here, no one is pressured to be strong, only to be honest before God. Leaving a like helps this message reach someone who is also at the edge of faith. And if today you can't even pray with your own words, I left a path of prayer in the description. These aren't pretty prayers. They are honest prayers for people who've reached the limit of faith. No pressure, one step at a time. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. Before I go, I want to be clear. I didn't survive because I was strong. I survived because I chose to serve. And sometimes that's exactly where the miracle begins. A big hug, and I'll see you in our next video.